Have you ever looked at your cat and thought, why are you always in the same room as me, but never exactly with me, not on your lap, not asking for attention, not meowing, not doing anything dramatic, just there, at the doorway, at the end of the bed, under the table while you work, on the couch across from you, watching, waiting, remaining close, in a way that feels almost accidental. And because it is not loud, most people never count it as love. They only notice affection when it looks obvious. When a cat rubs their legs, when a cat purrs, when a cat climbs into their arms. But some of the deepest forms of feline attachment do not look like affection at all. They look like background behavior. Tiny choices, small positioning, quiet timing, things so ordinary, you almost never stop to ask why they keep happening. And that may be the reason so many people misunderstand their cat. Because cats do not always move closer to be touched. Sometimes they move closer just to feel your existence, not to ask for something, not to perform, not even to be noticed, just to know where you are. And once you start seeing that, your cat begins to look very different. Because maybe they were never distant. Maybe you were only waiting for them to love you in a human-shaped way. And maybe the strangest part is this: some cats spend years quietly building closeness, without ever making it obvious enough for people to recognize. So in this video, we are going to look at the quiet ways your cat tries to stay emotionally close to you, and what those behaviors may really mean. Because once you understand these signs, you may never look at your cat's silence the same way again. The first sign is when your cat chooses the same room, but not your body. This is one of the most misunderstood behaviors in cats. A lot of people assume that if a cat truly loves them, the cat should want direct contact all the time. Lap, arms, chest, pillow, constant touch. But many cats do something else. They enter the room you are in, then settle 3 feet away, or 6 feet away, or at the edge of the space where they can still see you, hear you, and register your movement. Close enough to monitor, far enough to feel safe. And to a human this can feel confusing, because it almost looks half-hearted, like the cat cannot decide whether they want you or not. But emotionally, this behavior often means the opposite. It means they do want closeness. They are just choosing the version of closeness that feels natural to them. Cats are a species built around controlled vulnerability. They do not relax by abandoning awareness. They relax by remaining aware, inside safety. So when your cat stays in the same room as you, even without asking for contact, they may be telling you something very quiet and very important. I feel better when you are part of my environment. That is not indifference. That is regulated attachment. Your presence changes the atmosphere for them. It lowers uncertainty. It makes the space feel known. And when people misunderstand this, they often do one of two things. Either they ignore the cat completely, or they force more affection than the cat was asking for. They pick them up, pull them close, interrupt the distance the cat carefully chose. And over time, the cat learns that emotional closeness with you comes at the cost of control. That is how trust gets blurred, not because the cat did not love you, but because the form of love they offered was not recognized. Memorable takeaway line: when your cat stays near you without touching you, they may not be avoiding intimacy. They may be practicing it in their own language. The second sign is when your cat follows you, but only part of the way. Not the dramatic shadow cat behavior people joke about. Something subtler. You get up, walk into the kitchen, and a minute later your cat appears. You go to another room. They relocate too. You move around the house and somehow they keep repositioning just enough to remain loosely connected to your path. Not clinging, not demanding, just quietly recalibrating their location around yours. This matters more than most people realize, because cats are extremely efficient creatures. They do not waste energy without a reason. If your cat repeatedly changes position to stay within your general orbit that is not random, it means your movement matters to them. Your location matters to them. Your disappearance from one room changes their internal map of safety and attention. Sometimes this is simple curiosity, but often it is more relational than people think. Cats build security through pattern, and the human they trust becomes part of that pattern. So when you move, their nervous system notices, not always with anxiety, sometimes with interest, sometimes with comfort seeking, sometimes with a quiet instinct that says where the trusted being is where I should at least be aware. The emotional mistake humans make here is assuming the cat is needy only when they cry. But many cats do not cry. They track, they trail, they relocate, they stay loosely threaded to you. And because it is so subtle, it often gets dismissed as coincidence. It is not always coincidence. Sometimes it is attachment with dignity. Memorable takeaway line: a cat who quietly follows your movement may be saying, I don't need to hold on to you. I just need to know where my safe point is. The third sign is when your cat leaves and then comes back. This one is powerful because it confuses people the most. A cat jumps onto the couch beside you, stays for a minute, then leaves. A cat rubs against you and walks away. A cat sits by your bed, then disappears under a chair. To many owners, this feels emotionally mixed, like the cat is interested, then suddenly not interested, like they changed their mind, like the connection was not real. But in feline psychology, brief contact can still be meaningful contact. Cats do not always measure closeness by duration. They measure it by safety, timing, and nervous system tolerance. For some cats, especially sensitive ones, coming close already is the emotional event. They are not leaving because it meant nothing. They are leaving because that was enough. Enough closeness for now. Enough exposure for now. Enough emotional intensity for one moment. Then they reset. Then they return later. And once you understand that something changes, because you stop reading every departure as rejection, you start seeing a pattern: approach, connect, withdraw, regulate, return. That is not emotional inconsistency. That is emotional pacing. It is a cat's way of staying connected without flooding themselves. If humans misread this cycle, they often become hurt. They stop responding warmly. Or worse, they punish the cat by becoming cold when the cat returns. And that creates a tragic misunderstanding. Because the cat did come to you, the cat did choose you. They just could not stay inside contact as long as you expected. Memorable takeaway line: sometimes a cat leaving you does not mean the bond is weak. It means the moment mattered enough that they had to process it. The fourth sign is one many people never notice at all. Your cat sleeps facing away from you, but stays close enough to hear you breathe. This behavior can look emotionally distant, especially to people who think affection must look like eye contact, face-to-face cuddling, or obvious dependence. But in animals, sleeping near someone is one of the clearest forms of trust. And sleeping near someone while not constantly monitoring them can be even deeper. Because when a cat rests with their back turned toward you, or sleeps at the foot of the bed, or on the corner of the couch, they may be demonstrating a form of comfort that is almost invisible. They are not performing affection. They are assuming safety. That is a massive difference. A cat who does not trust you must stay alert around you. A cat who trusts you deeply may allow you into their resting world. Not always their body, but their resting world, their half-sleep state, their vulnerable hours, their unguarded breathing. That is not small. That is intimate. And yet many people miss it because it does not flatter them. It is not dramatic enough. It is not cinematic enough. But emotionally, this may be one of the most honest things a cat can do. To rest near you without display. To sleep in your field without performance. To let your presence become part of the background conditions of peace. And that is where I want to pause for a second. Because if your cat has ever done even one of these things, chosen your room, tracked your movement, returned after small moments of contact, or slept near you in quiet trust, then this video may already be changing how you see them. So, if that's happening, this is the perfect moment to like the video, subscribe to Felicchio, and stay with us. Because the second half of this video goes deeper into the signals that feel the smallest but may reveal the strongest emotional bond of all. Memorable takeaway line: a cat who sleeps near you may not be asking for affection. They may be showing you that your presence feels safe enough to dream beside. Now let's move into the second half, because this is where feline closeness becomes even easier to miss. The fifth sign is when your cat watches you without coming over. A lot of people feel unsettled by this. They look up and realize the cat is across the room, just staring, not blinking much, not moving, just observing. And if you do not understand cat behavior, that stare can feel cold, judging, detached, almost eerie. But context changes everything. When a cat repeatedly watches you in a relaxed environment, especially without signs of fear or tension, they may be studying you the way emotionally bonded animals study what matters. Cats are observers by design. They gather information before they act, and when you become a central part of their world, they do not just interact with you. They learn you, your timing, your voice changes, your walking rhythm, your moods, the sound you make before sitting down, the difference between your busy silence and your sad silence, the exact version of you that means not now, and the version that means come closer. So when your cat watches you from a distance, they may not be disconnected, they may be deeply engaged. Not with your commands, not with your entertainment value, with you, your state, your pattern, your predictability. And here is where the emotional layer gets deeper. Many cats do not rush toward distress. They monitor it first. They sense a shift. They observe. They remain near enough to intervene in their own way if needed. That is why some cats seem strangely present when you are mentally low. Not all cats do this, but many bonded cats become more visually attentive when something about you changes. And if you misread that watchfulness as emotional emptiness, you may miss one of the most cat-like forms of care there is. Memorable takeaway line. When your cat watches you in silence, they may not be doing nothing. They may be keeping emotional track of you. The sixth sign is when your cat creates tiny rituals with you. This is where feline love becomes almost invisible to anyone who is not paying close attention. Maybe your cat appears at the bathroom door every morning. Maybe they jump onto the chair only when you sit down at night. Maybe they wait until you finish brushing your teeth. Maybe they greet you at the hallway corner instead of the front door. Maybe they never sit on your lap, but always sit beside your left leg. Same time, same place, same sequence, over and over. Humans often overlook rituals because they expect affection to feel spontaneous. But for cats, repeated ritual is often where emotional meaning lives. Routine is how cats reduce uncertainty. It is how they organize reality. And when your cat builds a repeated behavior around your presence, they are not just reacting. They are incorporating you into their internal structure of life. That is a profound thing. You are no longer just the provider of food. You are part of the rhythm, part of the architecture, part of what makes the day feel like itself. And when those rituals are broken, some cats feel it more strongly than people realize. They may wait in the usual place, arrive at the usual time, check the usual room, not because they are obsessive, but because small rituals are where they store emotional expectation. This is one of the deepest reasons cats can appear fine and still quietly miss you. They are creatures of pattern, and when you become part of that pattern, your absence is not always loud. Sometimes it is structural, a missing piece in the shape of the day. Memorable takeaway line. If your cat builds a ritual around you, that ritual may be one of the purest forms of attachment they know how to make. And there is one final truth underneath all of this. A truth that changes the way you see almost every so-called ordinary cat behavior. Cats do not always prove love by increasing intensity. Sometimes they prove love by increasing consistency. Not bigger gestures, not louder emotion, just repeated nearness, repeated checking, repeated returning, repeated choosing. And because humans are drawn to what is obvious, we often miss what is faithful. We notice the one dramatic cuddle, but ignore the 100 quiet times our cat chose the same room. We remember the loud meow at night, but not the silent waiting every evening. We celebrate the rare lap moment, but not the daily pattern of our cat making sure we are still within reach. And maybe that is the real emotional gap between cats and people. Not that cats are hard to love, but that their deepest love can look too quiet for an untrained eye. So the next time your cat is nearby, but not on you, do not dismiss it. The next time they follow you halfway, watch you from across the room, sleep at the edge of your bed, return in small doses, or repeat the same little ritual that seems meaningless, pause, because maybe it is not meaningless at all. Maybe your cat has been staying emotionally close to you this whole time, in ways so subtle, so elegant, and so controlled. You were never taught to count them. And maybe that is why understanding a cat can feel strangely emotional, because once you begin seeing their quiet signals clearly, you also begin realizing how much love can exist without asking to be the center of attention. So here is the question I want to leave you with. How many times has your cat chosen closeness, and you almost missed it because it did not look the way humans expect love to look? If this video changed the way you see your cat, comment 1 if your cat always stays in the same room as you, 2 if your cat has a strange little ritual that only happens with you, 3 if you now realize your cat may have been emotionally closer than you thought, because sometimes the deepest bond with a cat is not the one that feels dramatic. It is the one that keeps happening quietly, day after day, until one day you realize they were never just nearby. They were staying connected, and that changes everything.